Hi. So I took a little hiatus from Facebook and TikTok and all of that stuff. I started noticing that I was feeling really shitty emotionally, and I wanted to kind of talk about that stuff. You know how they have like the monkeys? There's a story behind them. The ones that cover their eyes, their mouth, and their ears, and I'm not exactly sure of like the whole story behind it, but when I look at those, it makes me think of what we're consuming. So, you know, living the life that I have lived, and I feel like I've lived many lives in this lifetime, I have learned to savor. And what I mean by savoring is actually sitting and being in the moment with what you are consuming, whether that be actually like the food that you're eating. Like really sit there. It's like kind of like wine tasting, smell it and look at the colors, like consume it with all of you, the senses that you get. And I've really been using that in every type of communication that I have, whether that be with a person, a place, or a thing, whether I'm trying something new or I'm meeting someone. I think that it's been super helpful for me to be able to slow things down. So in this little hiatus I took from Facebook and all of that, I took on the role of the observer. And when I say that, I mean literally in every context of that meaning. Observing when I communicate with someone, really sitting there and listening to what they have to say. I've noticed that when taking the seat as the observer, if you look and listen and feel into what someone is saying, you can learn a lot of things. I think people should try this. You can learn where hurt is coming from. You can learn what people like. You can learn what makes their inner child come out. There's a lot of things being the observer. So I definitely think that people, should try to take that on for a day. Don't just listen to speak. Listen and really consume that information that is coming out of the person that you are talking to. I've done that for not even just the past couple of days, but I've been doing that since I got sober. And I will tell you that I have learned so much about the people that I care about myself even, like sitting there and observing my thoughts. I'm the type of person that is like super OCD, so when I have a friend or a lover or a family member, someone that I truly care about, when I add you to my life or take you out of my life, and I don't mean that in like a vicious way, but like, something that I cannot have in my life anymore, just know that I have considered all the options of that. I have considered what that means to me in every aspect. I have thought of all of the situations that could occur if you're in my life and if you are not. And know that if I choose you, I will die for you. And I mean that. I don't know where we got to this point, but I don't know, I guess, observing people, I have learned a lot about myself in these past months that I have been sober. I have learned to consume, and I don't really like that word consume, but I don't know. I've learned to live life and actually savor the moment. I will mention this one thing because my mom had asked me to do a video and talk kind of about how I've helped her. I didn't consider this little thing as helping and being that big of a deal, but this is something to think about as well. I noticed that my mom would have her mirror down in her car all the time, and I said, she picks herself apart, and I know that, like, from past relationships and things that people have said to me, I look at myself in the mirror sometimes, and those hateful things come through my head, and I have to sit there and check myself and say, Danielle, this isn't something that is born from you. Something that is born from me is born from love. I fully believe that, having my spiritual part of myself and being able to look through the lens of an angel or spirit has really made me blossom into a beautiful person, someone that I am able to fall in love with, and that is something I look for when I look for a partner as well. But that's getting off subject. So anyway, I wanted to say about, I noticed that she was looking in the mirror at herself a lot. And I said to her, ever since COVID, we have been trained to look through a camera lens, right? And these camera lenses, sometimes they don't show the most beautiful parts of ourselves. And they'll show, like, every pore and, just nasty stuff that we don't want to look at or we think is gross, right? And I said, instead of having your mirror down and looking at yourself constantly, why don't you try not doing that? Why don't you try looking at yourself when you get ready in the morning and just dialing that down a little bit? And she came back to me. And also, I wanted to say that, Facebook and all that stuff, it tends to show people as their perfect self. And we all know that no one is perfect. We often show parts of ourselves online, to keep up with the Joneses, and I'm sorry, but no relationship is perfect. If you think you are, you probably should look within. And I'm sorry if that offends someone, but really, no one is perfect. So a few days later, my mom came back to me and she was like, I just want to thank you for doing that. Not only has my confidence been boosted, but I feel so much better about myself. I didn't realize how much pressure it was putting on me, and it really touched my heart for her to say that. So, Mom, this is for you. Yeah, I guess I don't really realize how much of an effect I have on people sometimes. I think of myself as, I did think of myself as like this little person that just didn't matter. It was like a dot in the universe, you know what I mean? But I feel like everything that I have been through has made me such a strong, fucking amazing person, and I am so grateful to look at the reflection of myself in the mirror. So I just wanted to share that little bit with you guys, and maybe take it as a challenge. If you do harshly, look at yourself, take a step back, be a little nicer, a little kinder to yourself, and take the seat of the observer. Have a great day, guys.